Hello everybody and welcome back to the Train Brothers Railway. Today is an update video. And first and foremost, I want to address we are very sorry for not having a regular posting schedule. Well, we got a lot going on right now, and we will for about the next month, but then after that we should be good to go for regular videos. And in the meantime, we're still working on the railway whenever we can, and we're going to try and get a video up whenever we can, but it's kind of a bit chaotic, but we're going to keep you guys updated with these update videos, and whenever we can get to filming a video, we'll definitely give you guys some content. But enough with all that stuff. What's new with the railway? Well, we started the process of resetting our little walkway here because it was terribly uneven. You can see like the paver restraint, the edging there was all out of whack and crooked. And then after that, we're going to be on to our track, and we'll film a video on how to re-level the track and everything like that, because certain critters like to dig and throw stones. The rabbits are terrible and other things like that. So we'll definitely, that will be a whole video in itself we plan on doing when we go to reset the track and make it all nice and level and ballast it all again, because a lot of people are interested in how the track is laid, so we'll make a video about that. But we got a couple of buildings out. We got one there, one back in there, and one here. We do run trains whenever we can. It's a little harder and things come uncoupled because the track is unlevel, but it's still very manageable. But our biggest priority was pulling out all these pavers, stacking them up here. We're going to re-level all of our sub base. You can see we got some new screening there, and we're putting in a new screening base. We still got to level that section there. That's a big finger right there. And so that's what we're working on here with the pathway. But since I filmed my last video, or my last update video, definitely things have greened up. Even our little maple here that fell from one of the trees behind me, the maple keys fell into the woolly thyme, which is what this stuff is, nice and green and bright. And our maple tree is grown up tall. That's about 3 feet tall, I would say. It's amazing how quickly they grow at the beginning of their life. But our birch trees are finally taking off, nice and tall, and hopefully that's going to give us some shade for when we run on their nice summer or hot summer day. And over here is pretty quiet, and there isn't a whole heck of a lot going on besides the pathway here. This is our Irish moss. It's kind of touch and go at the beginning of the season. It dies from the center out and then regrows from the outside in. It eventually becomes green, but we might pull that out because it's not doing as well as we thought. Definitely woolly thyme, hands down, best ground cover for railways. It's really tiny, minus the clover that's in it that we gotta pull out. It's tiny, so it's scale. It looks like scale grass, and once it's established, it spreads like wildfire. We've had to cut it out of the track a couple of times, especially on the other side behind us. And then of course, all of our trees here. All this bright green is already new growth, and then the darker green is growth from last year. So the trees are really taking off. Once they bud out like that, and they know to bud, then that's when we trim them down smaller so that they stay somewhat scale. But there is a couple of them that have just gotten away, kind of like this one and that one, that are kind of too big or they're too close together. So, and especially over there by the pond, we're gonna have to thin some trees out. But a couple of them we wanted like to flank each side of the railway. We got one there and one over there that'll walk you over there, and we want those ones to be kind of anchors for our railway, so we kept those ones. Another good ground cover is this creeping Jenny. We have it here and over there by the waterfall. Really good aggressive ground cover. So we're eventually trying to get rid of almost all the mulch. We will have to remulch because, as you can see, like our wires sticking out and everything like that, and then we get the weeds until all these ground covers take over eventually. But this side of the railway is kind of the sleepy side, so to speak. There's not too much going on. This here, we took out our wall last year because we just want to be able to cut grass right up to the stone. We're okay with that because the little stone wall was kind of a lot of work. So the grass will eventually creep out here, or if we decide to grass seed it, we will. This here, we have our 3/4 inch crush, which is our base layer. And this year when we go to reset the track, we're going to be putting some more of this 1/4 inch chip down on top of all this, and we'll re-level the ballast. We'll be pulling all these weeds and everything like that. We kind of, each day we come out here and we take a look at it, we pull a few weeds. It's kind of like a constant upkeep. Here's our second building here. This is our loco shed. The plan is eventually one day to build a building that can hold 2 tracks that come into it. But until then, it's a side yard for this building. And of course, we have our little light here. When I originally built this light actually still does work. We hook it up to our low voltage power, which is in here. And this is a piece of 1/8 inch copper tubing that you would hook up like a fridge line to. I cut that and bent it into like a gooseneck light. This fender washer and a light from an LED light from Amazon makes the gooseneck light. A couple of hinges for the door and some square cutoffs for the door. And then of course the wood to make the door. This is probably one of my favorite buildings, most favorite buildings, sorry, on the railway. And then on this side, we'll have to rebury all of our wires this year. We just kind of got the pond up and running because we want to get our fish from outside here. So we'll have to bury that all under the railway. This is what is normally the town, but right now it's kind of satisfactory at best, we'll say, because we gotta bury all of our low voltage lines in, because for some reason the frost loves picking up those lines and pulling them out of the ballast. This ballast is probably about, I'd say, 4 to 6 inches deep. We keep dumping ballast on here every year, so we'll just have to dig it up and put it in. This ground cover here, I don't remember what the name of it was. This one also does fairly well, but it usually stays tight and close. And this one I believe flowers in the fall. So this ground cover is also quite nice. That is Woolly Thyme that is not doing, or sorry, no, that is not Woolly Thyme. That is also another off-brand that we don't know. I don't remember the name offhand. They used to do really well, but until this tree started to get shade, or it started to shade it, it doesn't do very well. Pines do really well, they stay small for a while. And then of course, we got the pond we're working on. We actually have a UV light helping to clear the water because we want to see our fish. And the lily pads are starting to come back up and all that. The fun little plants in there. So that's slowly clearing. And of course the never-ending weeds. And I'm not even going to say the word for those because I hate those ones so much. And then we'll have to obviously snake the cord through the rocks. But the pond is up and running. It's functional but doesn't look well. So we're working on the looks next. But that's all of our piping for the UV light. Everything gets piped up here to the waterfall. And to give you guys a size and scale, that's probably about, I'd say 3 to 4 feet tall. Because that is ground level there. So we have our tunnel going through, which we'll still have to put the tunnel portals out. We kept some of the rock, or the wall rock for each side of here. Has like a little retaining wall. And of course, the creeping Jenny growing over the track. I really do like that look. Our scale. This is kind of where we're going to have to thin out some of these trees, because this is technically 2 trees. So we'll have to pull one of these guys out, and then we'll just trim them down here. This guy here I did get from the field way back when. It was a small little guy. It was actually somewhere in there and it wasn't doing too well because the wind kept on beating it. But it's taken off now, so we're gonna have to pull this guy out as well. But if you do keep on top of him, like I've been keeping on this guy for a long time, and he's maybe only a foot, so he looks like a nice scale tree. So we'll definitely be keeping this guy. And then of course our creeping Jenny, it just likes going absolutely everywhere, which is perfectly fine by us because it looks really, really good over here and through here. So hopefully the creeping Jenny will cover all that, the pipe. But as you can see, if you look at here, like this is my finger. That's the thickness of the stalk of that tree. But that tree is only about, I'd say like 60 inches to maybe 2 feet. And we just keep on trimming it back and smaller, so it's almost like one of those bonsai trees. So it is possible to keep these trees smaller and just kind of make them dwarf size. Same as that pine there. And here we are on top of the waterfall. That is in our spillway. We have little bio balls in there and everything like that for the beneficial bacteria. On top of our pond. The water flows all the way down into the pond. And of course, the infamous face rock. And what's nice about this Creeping Jenny is if you don't like where it's gone, you can just pull it out, or sometimes you can just redirect a certain like little branch of it to say, hey, I want it to grow up over here over top of the rock or something like that. And it's kind of what we've been doing back here. I'll take you back there and we can take a look at that side. Alright, we're on the back side of the waterfall now, and of course minus some of these weeds, because in some areas it's not as thick, but where it's super duper thick, none of the weeds grow because it's so thick. Like, there is rock in there. But this is what we like about the Creeping Jenny, is this wall, you can actually see, it's kind of very steep, and we were worried about erosion, but we put the Creeping Jenny on it and it's just going to kind of hold in like a net the dirt so it doesn't erode. And you see the infamous storm about to come, because we've been trying to work in between the rains, because it is May here now. I do believe it's May 11th today, and those clouds love to come over us when we're just starting to work, because we've been fighting the rain. But anyways, we have our end of season Japanese maple that we picked up. It was, I forget how much off. I think it was about half price because it wasn't doing well. But we said, you know what, let's take it home. We're gonna plant it. We planted it in the fall, and it's looking pretty healthy. It's come back, so we're quite happy with it. Obviously, we're probably gonna end up mulching this this here until the Creeping Jenny slowly comes and creeps over here, because we want this to be all nice and green. And then we've got lots of cleanup here with the weeds to do. Put our tunnel portal back on. This is the other side of the tunnel. This tunnel is about 4 feet deep, and it runs under the waterfall. When we first planned this railway, you can actually go back in our channel and you'll be able to see the planning stuff and see what this whole space used to look like before this whole railway was here. We actually laid out the track and the buildings out on top of the grass before we stripped the grass, and you'll be able to see what this place looked like before. And that was, I want to say, about 4 years ago now. So anyways, I'm rambling now. Tunnel portal will go on here, clean up the weeds. Track is 4 feet long, or 4 feet deep is the tunnel. I wouldn't go any longer than that, because if something derails inside, you'll be able to stick your arm in on each side, and you have about 2 feet on each side to be able to grab or clean or ballast in that track there. So let's walk around to the front of the layout and we'll show you the rest of it. Well, this is the last part of the railway. This is our farm area. This is also the grass here, or the Spanish moss that we will have to probably take out. And this is our little pathway here around to the back, and that's where we just were, and we're back near the path. And this is about all the work, or the scope of work, that we have left to do here on the railway before it's officially 100% open and good to go for the season. But I figured we haven't been doing videos very often, so I figured I'd give you guys an update and tell you what's going on. And this is what's going on. We're going to try and give you guys videos as much as possible, but we'll definitely involve you for fixing up the track after winter. And until next time, guys, take care, take it easy, and keep it on the rails. Bye, guys.